What's going on, everybody? This is James Graham, Mass Facts Boys, and you're here for another Facts Project review. Today, we're going to be covering something special because this doesn't happen too often. As Robert Kirkman, the, of course, founder of the Invincible Universe, a co-founder of the Energon Universe, Skybound Unique, anytime he does a creator-owned project, you more than likely have to pay attention. So he brings forth this brand new project called Skinbreaker. Robert Kirkman, of course, is the creator and the writer of the saga, but he incorporated the mind of David Finch. As you can see by this cover here from Battle Beast, the Invincible Universe, issue 1, there was a variant that was done here. And the fact that these two actually came together with Annalisa Leone, who, of course, does the coloring for most of his books, and Rus Wooten doing the lettering, it tends to make for a very intricate, beautiful series. Now, note, this is a tribal story based upon the landscapes that you see from David Finch and how he's incorporating the line arts that you see through like the first 3 or 4 pages in here. You understand that the world you're in is going to be very vast, very intricate, but also very primal, right? So we get introduced to a father-son, mentor-mentee of this particular tribe by the name of Chieftain Enor and his young warrior by the name of Anok. And they're on a hunt together. And you could tell right away that Enor is coming to the latter years of his life. And because he's the chief and how primitive this particular tribe is, any signs of weakness will almost come to terms with the entire tribe trying to basically take you out for power, right? So this conversation starts to happen between Enor and Anok about, you should challenge me one day for the role of chieftain. And the thing is, a challenge also means certain death. So it's almost like you have to take me out in order to take control of the tribe. They need your leadership, and the only way for that to happen is for me to not be here anymore. I'm coming on to the latter years of my life, and with me gone, I'd rather you do it than anybody else because, you know, you're my son, and I've been tutoring you and planning for this moment for this long. But the thing is, other people in the tribe have other plans. From this particular hunt alone, just the smallest smidgen of struggle or weakness are seen as a means for a challenge from someone else. And we get introduced to this other character named Thul. And Thul is seeing this firsthand and looking at it almost in the aspect of like, your bloodline is getting weaker. And I know this because I see it in you. And all the while, you know, it's hard to take away that David Finch is just like creating this excellent portrait between every single page. The creatures that he's created, the Skinbreaker tribe that you see through every single page, the landscapes, again, how they look. But we also get introduced to the village and Anok's family, his wife Dala, but also his young son Imam. And Imam has a problem. Amongst the children of the Skinbreaker tribe, they almost have a perforated skin that kind of builds up around them. And they have a ceremony to rid themselves of this perforated skin, almost as like a sign of maturity. Let's take it in the form of saying it's like a sweet 15. You know, this is the day where you become a man. Ultimately, Imam has been through many of these Skinbreaker ceremonies, and it seems as though he's having very much difficulty in getting his skin to fade. If you go through this ceremony, they go to a sacramental rock that's in the middle of the village, and every single young adult, as a sign of maturity, has to go through this ceremony. Enor will hold the Skinbreaker sword, and basically it will shine through a hole in the sacramental stone. The sun will then basically pierce through this shard onto the children, and then this skin will fade. And they do this with like a few other kids, and then they do it with Imam, and it doesn't bode well for him. The skin doesn't even fade. This again seems as a sign of weakness for Thul, who interrupts the ceremony, calls Enor's bloodline weak, calls Anok weak, because of what he's seeing in Imam and the weakness that he saw earlier with Enor, and proceeds to take this moment amongst himself to show how strong his bloodline is by taking his newborn baby. Now note, this seems like a ceremony that's supposed to happen when the kids reach a certain age. So Thul, in proving that his bloodline is that strong, takes his newborn, and casts Enor to do the Skinbreaker ceremony on his baby. And the skin wipes away immediately, to where he further takes the moment onto himself to almost put forth a challenge to Enor until Anok interrupts and is basically going to take on the challenge of Enor in a one-on-one combat for chieftain of the entire village. Now, how this is already started, you could tell there's already going to be like these lessons built throughout the story, especially like Thul being this more dominant character, and he wants to go back to the certain ways of how this tribe used to interact, probably as in a conquering fashion. When you see Thul, you see that, he has like a big scar on the right hand side of his face, and you could tell that he's a warrior. He's been through many battles, but probably Enor has basically conquered through a little bit more progressively. He's been conquering through love, and togetherness and union, where Thul just ain't about that life. That's not how I get down at all. So I look forward to more, especially from Robert Kirkman, especially from David Finch, and how not only how the comic looks, but how it's completely written, and how this tribe is going to mask their first challenge going into issue 2. So definitely be reading more of this, and look out for more of this on the channel. See you guys next time.